Hello everyone, welcome to the second video of our series Virtualization with Hyper-V. In this video, we are going to learn about the supported host environments where we can install Hyper-V and the supported guest operating systems, that what operating systems we can use in Hyper-V to create virtual machines. And we will learn the prerequisites and system requirements for Hyper-V installation. So let's get started. Alright, so first we need to learn about the supported host environments, that what are the host environments where we can install Hyper-V. So let me tell you, Hyper-V was introduced with Windows Server 2008. It came as a Windows Server features and it has been along with Windows Server since then. There has been several updates and upgrades that Hyper-V has gone through, and there has been so many new features which have been introduced along with the Windows Server's new versions. So Windows Server 2008, 2008 R2, 2012, 2012 R2, 2016, 2019 and 2022, which is the latest version of Windows servers, they all support Hyper-V. So if we need to install Hyper-V on any Windows servers, we need to make sure that it should be one of these. If we talk about Windows client machines, Hyper-V can be installed on Windows 8 Pro 64-bit, Windows 10 Enterprise, Windows 10 Pro or Windows Education. Hyper-V is not supported on Windows 10 home versions, so make sure that when you install Hyper-V on Windows client machines, it should not be Windows 10 home version. You need to upgrade it to Windows 10 Pro at least to be able to install Hyper-V on it. Microsoft also provides the virtual hard disk for Hyper-V servers. So these virtual hard disks comes with pre-installed Hyper-V environments. So you will not need to install anything on it, it will come with pre-installed. Now let's talk about the system requirements and prerequisites for Hyper-V installation. Before we install Hyper-V, you need to make sure that the processor you are using should be 64-bit and the hardware should have SLAT enabled. Now what is SLAT? It is second level address translation. It works as a cache memory for hypervisor. In case of Hyper-V, it reduces the overhead of hypervisor. So any operation that hypervisor is going to do, SLAT will create a cache memory for it so that it doesn't have to interact with hardware every time. It can keep all the caching things in the cache memory, which is called SLAT. Your hardware should have at least 4 GB RAM. That is the minimum requirement for Hyper-V installation. And if you can have more RAM, nothing better than that, because the more RAM or the more resources you will give your hardware, the better your hypervisor will work with your virtual machines. And VM monitor mode extension should be enabled. So VM monitor mode extension comes with hardware and it should be enabled for virtualization to work on that hardware. Virtualization support turned on in the BIOS or UEFI. So whenever you go into the BIOS settings of your hardware, you will see the virtualization settings in there. So you need to make sure that data execution prevention, which is called DEP, should be enabled for your hardware. So you can change it from the BIOS settings. So once you will go into the BIOS settings, you will get the option to enable or disable data execution prevention. Next, we are going to talk about the supported guest operating systems with Hyper-V. So you can create virtual machines using all these operating systems. If we talk about Windows servers, you can install Windows Server 2008, 2008 R2, 2012, 2012 R2, 2016, Windows Server version 1803, 2019, 1903, 1909, and 2022 in your virtual machines. You can use all these operating systems to create those virtual machines. For client machines, you can install Windows 7, SP1 version, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, and Windows 11 for those virtual machines. And you can also install any of the Linux versions to create Hyper-V virtual machines. Alright, let's finally learn how we install Hyper-V on Windows servers. I have written down all the steps which will be followed to be able to install Hyper-V on Windows servers. And you can follow these steps as well as I'll show you the practical that how we can do it. Alright, so let's get to the practical. See, I have the Hyper-V already installed on my Hyper-V host. Let's go to one of the servers where we are going to see all the steps which we need to follow for Hyper-V installation. So we will log into our Windows server. I have got Windows Server 2019 here, and we go to Server Manager. Then in Server Manager, we click on Add Roles and Features. Then click Next. You need to select role-based or feature-based installation. Next, make sure that you are selecting the correct server where you are going to install Hyper-V, and then click next. Now, in all these roles, you need to select Hyper-V in here, and all these features will be automatically installed once you install this role. So you can see that once we install Hyper-V role, we get remote server administration tools, role administration tool, Hyper-V management tools, where you get Hyper-V module for Windows PowerShell and GUI management tools. So all these features will be installed as soon as you install Hyper-V role. So you need to click on add features because I already have Hyper-V installed and this is one of the virtual machines. So we will not go further than this, but once you click add features, your Hyper-V role will be installed. You will just need to restart your Hyper-V host and you will be able to see the Hyper-V Manager console. So Hyper-V Manager console looks like this. You can create virtual machines in it, you can create virtual switches, you can set up virtual SAN on it and edit your virtual disk. You can do all the operations for Hyper-V using Hyper-V Manager. Next, we're going to learn how we install Hyper-V on Windows client machines. We have just learned how we do it on Windows servers. The process is a bit different in case of Windows client machines. So what you will need to do, you need to open programs and features, and then you need to turn Windows features on or off from there. And there will be an option called Hyper-V, and you just need to install it. So let's see how we do it. So as you can see, I have opened programs and features on my computer. You need to click on turn Windows features on or off, and then it will open all the optional features available in Windows client machines. You need to go to Hyper-V and make sure that this box is checked. Once you check this box, you will see that all the subfolders will be automatically checked. So make sure that you're checking the parent folder and then click OK. As soon as you click OK, your computer will be restarted. Once it is back on, then you will see that you have got Hyper-V Manager installed on your computer. So you can search for Hyper-V Manager by just typing Hyper-V in the search box and it will come up with Hyper-V Manager. And there is the console for Hyper-V Manager where you can do all the management related tasks for all the virtual machines and Hyper-V. In this slide, I have shown the Hyper-V Manager image which we just saw. So Hyper-V Manager is the utility to manage Hyper-V virtual machines, and once it is installed, we can open Hyper-V Manager in order to create and manage virtual machines. Alright, so I hope you were able to understand how we install Hyper-V on Windows servers and on Windows client machines. In Windows servers, it is basically the role that we install, and in Windows client machines, it is the optional feature that we need to install in order to use it. Alright, so that's it for today. We will meet in our next lecture where we will learn how we can create virtual machines, set up networking and storage for Hyper-V. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.